Hi guys, how are you all doing? I still don't have the right equipment to be doing this kind of video, but I'm going to give it a go without my equipment. And it's Hi Sorry. And the story is about a lady called Madame de Florian who lived in Paris in the last century. Madame de Florian started her life as a seamstress in Paris, but unfortunately she couldn't make a living out of that, so she became a high-class courtesan, which is a prostitute in other words, but for really rich people. Anyway, she was quite successful at being a courtesan, and she had a lot of clients on her books, and they sent her lots of love letters, and she kept all the love letters in different piles with ribbons upon them, in different colours, so she was quite organised. Could do with a bit of that organisation in my bedroom at the minute, but never mind. Anyway, she got an apartment near Pigalle. Pigalle is in near the red light district of Paris, and she, after being there for a few years, having the high life, she had all the latest fashion, she had a lovely life there. She had, you know, she was living the high life for somebody from her standing in Paris, you know, at that particular time in history, you know. She then met a pharmacist guy who she got pregnant from, and sadly the baby died. She then got pregnant again, and this time the baby lived. But there was a weird thing about this, because when she was in the hospital, the midwife and everything, you know, said there was no mother on the birth certificate. Basically, she didn't put her name on the birth certificate, which is odd. But a few years later, her name appears on the birth certificate. So that's another weird side to the story. Anyway, so you have the second Henry now. So there's Henry I, who's died sadly, and now she's got Henry II, who's still alive. And she's living in this apartment, and she meets this painter who's very famous. He's a famous painter. His name was Giovanni Boldini. And Giovanni Boldini, unfortunately, was married. He was a married man, but he started having an affair with her. Apparently, he really loved her, and he actually did a painting of her, and it was a really lovely painting, and it actually sold for £3 million, but that's later on in the story. So anyway, so she's had all these lovers, but then when she gets with this Giovanni, that's it, she's in love with him, and that's it. Obviously he's married, the usual story, he doesn't leave his wife, and she ends up dying of a broken heart, apparently. So she's then, after that, she's obviously died, and then the apartment is then, it's passed down to her granddaughter. So her granddaughter is living in the apartment, and it's now 1939, and how this is a granddaughter, I'm not quite sure. I think it's to do with the pharmacist. It must be something to do with that. I don't quite get that bit. There's a lot of mysteries with this story. But anyway, so apparently this is the granddaughter of her. And so she... So this granddaughter lives there until 1939, 1940. The Nazis invade Paris, and then that's it. She just leaves. I don't blame her. So she leaves Paris and goes down to the south of France. And that's where you think the story would end, but it doesn't, because basically somebody was paying the rent on that flat for 70 more years. 70 more years, which brings us up to 2010. Okay, so in 2010, the granddaughter dies, and they realise that the granddaughter, when she dies, they then have the deeds go back to the family. They've got very stringent family laws in France. You know, you can't find that much out about stuff. But anyway, so this apartment nobody had been in it for 70 years. So when they went inside it, it was pretty amazing, because everything was still there as it had been. A little bit of a black eyeliner on there. I'm meant to be doing makeup, and What I was going to say as well was if when you do eyeshadow, if you get a little bit older, like myself, you can push the eyeshadow up when you do it, and that tends to lift up your eyes and you don't look quite as bad. Whatever. But yeah, that's just a little tip that I learned along my way. So this apartment now has been left for 70 years. The granddaughter's died, and so the people go in there and investigate what's in this apartment, and when they get in there they can't believe it. It's all dusty. They clean it all down, and nothing has been touched since 1940, so it's like a time capsule. You know, it's still exactly as it was in 1940. And then they found the painting that Giovanni Baldini had done, and this painting sold for 300 million, I think, I do believe. So, you know, it's pretty amazing. And in the flat itself, when they cleaned it all up, it was really beautiful. I didn't realise that in that particular time period that they used to love taxidermy. So, like, there was loads of stuff, sort of animals, ostriches and all those sort of things around the flat, and that apparently that was a big sign of wealth in that time. I have no idea about that. I think that's quite gross, actually. I don't think I'd want them in my bedroom, really. But anyway, so that's the story. And obviously, you know, I'd love to read the love letters from her to this artist. I think that would be fascinating. But yeah, so I'm going to put some pictures of the apartment that I found, and I just think it's a really nice story. So obviously I'm going to get better at doing this makeup stuff when I've got like, and I can like put my phone on the stand and, you know, do it properly. But anyway, that's my story for today, and I have put a bit of makeup on. Anyway, I hope you like the story, and yeah, be kind to me. I'm new at doing this, and yeah, but it's you know, it's trial and error. I really love that story, and I've loved that story for quite a long time, so I just wanted to share it because it fascinated me how somebody was paying rent for 7 years. I'm still not sure. Why were they doing it? Maybe the Henry, the second child, maybe he was the painter's child. You don't know, do you? But I guess we'll never find out. And then they've got no plans to ever open this apartment to the public either. But some of the stuff in there was pretty impressive when they cleaned it all up. So that's my story for today. Thanks for listening, and have a good evening. Bye.